The E3 Sentry, also known as the Airborne Warning and Control System, or AWACS, looks like your typical airplane, except for a large radar dome that sits 11 feet above the back of the plane. With that radar, the AWACS provides all-weather surveillance, command, control, and communications needed by U.S. and Allied air commanders. The passenger compartment is filled with computers and radio equipment that can detect and track aircraft at all altitudes, boats in the ocean, and even direct Allied aircraft against the enemy up to 250 miles away. Success in the air depends on the airmen of Tinker Air Force Base's 552nd Air Control Wing to rapidly deploy and utilize the AWACS. The 552nd Operations Group is at the core of this weapons system, providing the personnel who perform the surveillance, warning, and control mission. A typical crew includes the pilots, navigator, flight engineer with radar, computer and communication technicians, and weapon controllers who work together to get the plane and radar where it is needed to perform the AWACS mission. But before an airman can participate in an AWACS mission, they have to go to school. Airmen at Tinker Air Force Base have to complete their qualifications in both ground and E3 Sentry Pacific training before they get to fly. Ground training includes classes on life support and chemical warfare, while E3 training consists of academics and flight simulators. Once airmen prove their capabilities in the training squadron, they are assigned to the Wings Flying Training Squadron. For many airmen, this is their first time flying. Prior to every flight, each aircrew position goes through an in-depth planning session on the ground, allowing instructors to train crew members on what needs to be done and how best to accomplish it. While in flight, instructors teach students how to apply their academic and simulator training. An aircrew member has unique responsibilities and will spend between 1 to 6 months training to become mission qualified. Once students pass their training, the newly qualified aircrew members are assigned to one of 6 operational AWACS flying units in the United States Air Force. While the crew of the AWACS can see and control most of the battlefield in the air, they also get help from airmen on the ground. The men and women of the Communications Group creates, delivers, and sustains communications and computer support for all U.S. Air Force E3 Sentry aircraft. The group is responsible for mission software that connects AWACS computers with Allied aircraft and weapons systems. The group also provides ground communication support for the 552nd Air Control Wing. Every 552nd Air Control Wing AWACS mission begins and ends with the Communications Group. The flight starts when the aircrew picks up the mission hard drive and ends when the crew returns to Tinker Air Force Base. The data is then downloaded for future analysis to ensure AWACS sustains its enduring role in gaining and maintaining air superiority. The E3's radar is an important asset to fighting terrorism, and the maintenance group's job is to make sure everything is working properly. Long before the aircraft ever takes off, hundreds of maintenance personnel look over it to ensure it's ready for flight. Day or night, in any weather condition, attention to detail during the maintenance of these aircraft is paramount in assuring the safety of the aircrew. Many inspections are performed daily on the aircraft. These inspections are from the engines and brake assemblies to refurbishment, corrosion controls, and airframe maintenance. Without these vital inspections and repairs, AWACS could not perform its mission. But maintenance is more than fixing planes. It also includes taking care of the parts that make AWACS unique: its radar, communication, and computer systems. Electronic technicians are available to inspect and repair the navigational and radar systems, including the computers and display monitors aboard the aircraft. Thanks to the maintenance group, the AWACS and its equipment can deploy anywhere in the world at any time. From deployment and logistical planning to technician training, the AWACS maintainers and support network work together to ensure freedom is preserved throughout the world. The AWACS is one of a kind, and its radar has helped the U.S. control the skies during the Gulf War, along with Operations Noble Eagle and enduring and Iraqi freedom. And thanks to the airmen of Tinker Air Force Base, the AWACS will be monitoring the skies for years to come.
اسمي جيك مينارد. أنا من جاموسة نيويورك وأنا جندي لغوي في القوات الجوية. I'm only 20 years old and I already know Arabic. It's a pretty awesome accomplishment.
Меня зовут Sergeant James Call. Я из штата Tennessee. Я учитель русского языка.
I've been studying Arabic in the Air Force for about 63 weeks now. That training started off in Monterey, California at the Defense Language Institute.
You could learn over 10 different languages. The major ones are Chinese, Arabic, Persian Farsi, Pashto, Tagalog, Spanish, and I learned Russian.
In Monterey, the school is definitely stressful and it's definitely intense, but it's probably the best way to learn another language if you're not going to a foreign country.
The teaching staff there is unique in that they all are native speakers.
Basically, you just live and breathe the language.
Here, I learned how to apply the language that I learned in Monterey, but a lot of that stuff is classified and I can't talk about it.
There are two different paths to become a cryptolinguist. There's the airborne path and the ground path. Here at Goodfellow, we teach the technical side of the job, and it's very challenging because most students aren't used to the fast-paced learning environment that we have here.
That entails listening to information and then translating that so that we can find out what exactly we're looking for and use that information that we obtain from those translations to support our troops and our allies.
Salam, halashim wachetore.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Spasibo большое. До свидания.
That's motivating. That fires you up. Lets you know that you're getting ready to get into something that's got just so much raw power and you're kind of in control of that.
I'm Red Holmeyer, F-22 pilot.
Clear for takeoff, remain this frequency, understand we're cleared for the Airborne pickup.
The best thing about being in the Air Force is getting to fly the baddest bird in the world, the F-22 Raptor.
Practicing medicine in the United States Air Force is very rewarding. You're taking care of a very special population of people who have served their country or are family members of people who have served their country.
For me, the most interesting part about this job is not necessarily what happens in the clinic, but it's the extra duties that are what excite me. And for example, I went on a humanitarian mission, a 2-week mission to the Dominican Republic. You're doing something that's far outside the spectrum of just the clinical work, and that excites me.
So one thing they do as a flight surgeon is they put us in the jet. I mean, what other job can you say you get to go fly in a jet once a week and do barrel rolls and aileron rolls?
In the civilian sector, many times there's a gigantic insurance company or an HMO that dictates patient care. But in the Air Force, I can take care of my patients the way I want to. So if there's a test that the patient needs, it doesn't really matter how expensive, I get the test.
The Air Force is completely on the cutting edge of technology. We have the latest imaging technology for radiology, the latest technology for surgical procedures.
I take a lot of pride being a physician in the Air Force, and it's been an outstanding opportunity and experience to be a part of a team who's treating patients but also carrying out a bigger mission.
In the Air Force, the nurses and the doctors have to develop a unified front. And I've often heard doctors say, I don't know where I would be without that nurse taking care of my patient when I wasn't there. So that's very important.
We can give our patients anything they want. As in, if we want them to have certain medications, if we want them to have MRIs, CAT scans, X-rays, if we want them to be seen by a specialist, they will get it. Because the Air Force is there for us.
If I were a recruit thinking about coming into the military, and I was thinking about coming into the medical field, I would definitely come into the Air Force. There's just no way around the quality of care the Air Force provides, the educational opportunities that you can seek, and the fact that your job will be secured.
It's a lot nicer than civilian nursing in that we have technicians that can do a lot for us to help us out. Whereas in the civilian world, you might have one tech for an entire unit as big as this unit that I work on. It's a 48-bed unit. We tend to have about 6 techs on duty, and they can start IVs and do blood draws, which the CNAs on the outside are not allowed to do.
The Air Force has helped me grow as a professional and has given me the opportunities to go to school and learn other aspects of my profession so that I can teach others too.
The biggest contribution the Air Force has given me is probably a sense of accomplishment and pride. To this day, I always look up for the Air Force planes when they fly around the city, and I just feel so proud to wear the uniform, the same uniform they do.
I just think that the Air Force takes care of its people better. I think that's just how this service runs. We're people-oriented.
The feeling that I get from coming home every day, knowing what I do for the Air Force, is a special kind of feeling that I just don't think that you can get in the civilian sector. A lot of times in the civilian sector, you're more concerned with what's going to make you money versus what's best for the patient. There's never a monetary issue. I'm never worried about finances. I'm never worried about having the proper equipment. I can come in and know that I can treat someone 110% with state-of-the-art equipment every single day.
I do feel that I am on the cutting edge of dentistry in everything that I do. They support your decisions, they will give you all the materials you want to try and the technology that you would ask for. Everything is available, it's just a matter of asking.
The way that I found that practicing in our specialty in the Air Force is different than the private sector is the amount of camaraderie, and it's the amount of interaction that I have, not only with people in my specialty, but those in every other aspect of the medical field.
My job does require a lot of creativity and thinking out of the box.
And in this environment, there's never any stopping. There's never ever nothing holding you back. They give you every opportunity to press forward, to keep learning, to keep growing.
You know, Air Force is a different world for you. It opens up many opportunities, many doors for you. You get lovely opportunities to see different places, you explore different cities, and you learn from different cities about their culture, their heritage, and at the end of the day, you've done service to your country.
Hi, my name's Kevin Riley. I'm a loadmaster on the C-17 aircraft. My rank is Staff Sergeant, and I've been a loadmaster for approximately 8 years. What we're going to be doing today is dropping a howitzer. It's approximately 9,000 pounds.
Cargo door. Ramp.
In that corner right there is a PDM, parachute deployment mechanism. And in the parachute deployment mechanism is our drogue chute. So that drogue chute will be dispensed, push the drogue into the jet airstream.
Drogue deployed.
Drogue okay. And it'll just float there for a while, right up until we get the signal for limelight, and that in turn will pull the extraction parachute out.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, green light.
The extraction parachute will immediately transfer all the force along this line straight to the platform here, so it'll drag it right through to the back of the aircraft. All clear. Now this diamond shape assembly, triangular shape, will pull free, and then all the force that was pulling the platform out of the aircraft will now deploy the cargo parachutes that let the whole load float down to Earth safely. There's a timing mechanism on this thing which will stop the load from being dragged along the ground after the parachutes land. And what that actually does is release the chutes from the load. It's on a timer, and all of this is set up to release on contact with the ground. That is basically the whole operation in a nutshell.